I believed in reincarnation for years, but I also believe that spirit attachments can be mistaken for past lives. I figured it'd be interesting to create a thread about this issue and share info. Dr. Carl Wickland discussed this topic a bit in his work. He was an early paranormal researcher and psychiatrist whose wife was a medium. They engaged in a form of spirit release therapy and were able to cure many individuals of obsessive thoughts, desires, addictions, and behaviors. Wickland came to believe that most earthbound spirits lingered around due to a desire for physical pleasure. However, some earthbound spirits attach to infants and children in an attempt to reincarnate. The attached spirit can transfer thoughts, memories, and feelings to the host. Often these earthbound entities are in denial and obsess over things that happened years previously. Wickland's most famous book, which includes his thoughts on spirit attachments being mistaken for past lives, is available here. 30 Years Among the Dead. One could argue that many generational spirits are due to this phenomenon. Several exorcists, such as Father Ripperger and Father Rossetti, have noted that Freemasons often have generational curses in their family line. Higher-ranking Freemasons are taught to believe in reincarnation, and it's possible that they falsely believe they can reincarnate by attaching directly to a fetus or infant while in the earthbound state. If they do this, they cause the child psychological damage. This may also explain why some cross-sex reincarnation cases experience no dysphoria and others are severely dysphoric. Dr. William J. Baldwin, in his book Healing Lost Souls, noted that spirit attachments can cause addictions to substances like alcohol. In bad cases, he found that they can also cause gender dysphoria and homosexual urges. He reported several cases of gender dysphoria that were permanently cured after spirit releasement therapy was used on the patient. Wickland had reported a similar phenomenon in which a woman who had a male haircut and sometimes hated being perceived as female made peace with her biological sex after a male spirit was detached. I think it's possible that in cases such as autohomoeroticism, where a woman feels she is a gay man, that the female host has a gay male spirit attached to her energy body. Often this will have been a relative or someone else close to the victim. The reason why I'm sharing this is that I've come across a large number of people claiming to remember past lives who seem deeply troubled and mentally unwell. They often report past lives that make no sense, such as a life that ended months or years after the individual was born, multiple overlapping past lives, stories that contradict common sense, etc. Sometimes they also have verifications indicating that a paranormal phenomenon is taking place, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are remembering their own previous existence. Some of the means used to recall past lives are the same gateways that Wickland and others claim allow spirits to attach to us. Anyways, I personally believe in reincarnation, but I think this also happens, and is something that people should be aware of.
This is a very interesting work, but I think it is limited by the range and sample of the spirits the author worked with. In the immediate afterlife beyond this world and for quite many planes, the same religious divergences we have on Earth continue, and the spirits found there are as limited to their range of knowledge as we are. There are communication of spirits who actually seen and work toward the process of reincarnation and attachment of a soul to a fetus. Spirits who have chosen their life plan and remembered their own past lives in the afterlife itself. All in all, the world is much more complex than we think, and spiritual attachments coexist with reincarnation. They aren't competing theories. If you are interested in this sort of theme, you could look up for spiritist literature. There are hundreds of mediums and authors who do similar work to Dr. Carl Wickland, expanding the dataset to give us a larger and deeper picture of these things. I find both Allan Kardec and Chico Xavier especially good authors. The Spirits book, most important work by Allan Kardec, composed after the extensive study and scientific analysis of hundreds of spiritual communications and mediums during the 1800s. Astral City, introductory work from Chico Xavier to a series of 10-plus books in which a deceased physician shares his experiences in the astral after death. In many of the following books he often describes what he witnessed while observing spirits reincarnating and dying in different conditions. Chico Xavier, Medium of the Century, a book trying to bring the career and life of Chico Xavier to the attention of people outside Brazil.
Thank you for your thoughtful reply. All in all, the world is much more complex than we think, and spiritual attachments coexist with reincarnation. They aren't competing theories. I'm not claiming they're competing theories, I just think that many cases, especially those where a person is stuck in obsessive and destructive thought loops, are better explained by spirit attachments. Joe Fisher was an English-Canadian who believed in reincarnation and also wrote about spirit attachments. He spent years studying mediums and wrote a fascinating book called Hungry Ghosts, which documented his experience and views.
I didn't mean you say something like that. I wasn't clear, sorry. I just skimmed the books that were referenced and the author did portray it like that, at least as far as I understood. I study Spiritism, which works daily with the problems described in this book. The name we use for it is obsession.
No worries, it's often hard to know exactly what someone means over the internet. Wickland's experiences with spirit obsession led him to be skeptical of reincarnation, but I believe that Baldwin, who wrote Healing Lost Souls, believed in it. I know that Fisher believed in both phenomenon.